You could do a social experiment where you and a group of buddies go clear out the shelf of a certain Yu-Gi-Oh set when the distributor is putting the boxes out. At the same time, when all the sports guys and Pokemon guys and One Piece guys are there waiting to scalp the product. If you told these guys, "Hey yo, bro, the new Yu-Gi-Oh set, it's got the illustration rares, we're buying out all of it." All of a sudden, those FOMO, scalper, it's just human psychology. They would kind of want to FOMO in. And all of a sudden, if you start pumping this idea that Yu-Gi-Oh is so valuable that you have to scalp the product or whatever, please don't go and actually do this in practice. But with the way human psychology works, we actually want scarce things more than things that are available. Um, and not to make fun of people, but it's almost like when you're going fishing and you drop like a little piece of cheese in the water and like one bluegill goes and hits it and then like two and then all of a sudden two bluegills are there and then all of a sudden 50 bluegills are there and they want to know what's up, and then there's bass there trying to get after the bluegills because everybody just wants to know why is there so much action going on with this. And that's what scalpers are doing. Scalpers are causing FOMO. They're causing action. They're getting Pokemon on the news consistently. You see somebody like Moist Critical, Charlie. He hates scalpers, but he's also doing Ascended Heroes pack rips and talking about his collection now, right? So, scalpers are actually essential to all of this bullshit, guys. It's crazy, but it's the truth, right? And now I'm going to do my breakdown of what would cause scalpers to disappear. And it starts with a set like Perfect Order. Like maybe a Chaos Rising. I know with Journey Together a lot of scalpers lost money. But you have Rip and Shippers. These guys will buy from scalpers at crazy marked up prices because they think with a set like Ascended 151, you can upsell a pack for a crazy amount of money, right? Then you also have investors, and I put it in quotes because I think that these guys are actually secondary flippers. I don't like like Rudy from Alpha Investments or whatever, but there's one point he's 100% correct on. People will tell him that Pokemon's going to be worthless in 20 years, all the sealed product. But he says that's not true because nobody has conviction to hold mass amounts of Pokemon. I believe that that is 100% correct. I believe that all of these new quote unquote investors are really just secondary flippers. They're willing to buy an Ascended Heroes ETB at 170 from a scalper because they believe that in 6 months it will be 240 and they will pull a secondary flip on the product. And with a set like Ascended, if you have multiple $500 cards, maybe it's possible, right? Then you have very similar to investors, secondary flippers. You have vendors. They're willing to buy from scalpers on a mass scale at a slightly bigger markup, flip the seal at a show or whatever, or invest in it. That kind of thing. And then you have even local game stores. When product is so scarce that they can't get their hands on it and they want something on the shelf, they're willing to buy from a scalper, right? But what happens when you have a set like Perfect Order, Journey Together, Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, even Chaos Rising? I've seen $6 packs, $7 packs. What happens when Pokemon starts to drop some sets that don't have crazy popular banger Pokemon worth $500, right? Are Rip and Shippers going to be able to upsell those packs? I see they're pulling it off with Perfect Order, so it's possible. But let's say Wind and Waves or something really, really sucks. Nobody even wants to open it, right? Nobody wants to pay $10 a pack, at least. Then Rip and Shippers are gone out of the picture. Secondary flipper investors, if they see that a set has all garbage, doo-doo, Pokemon, nobody wants it, whatever, the rip and shippers aren't paying $10 a pack, the market's kind of moving flat. You say they're starting to see that the rip and shippers don't want the stuff. They're still buying from the scalpers, but it's been 6 months and the market's flat. These guys only invest because they want to flip. And if their bags are tied up for 6 months, 8 months, a year, and the market's flat for a year or so, they're going to cash out. They don't want the product anymore, right? Same thing goes for vendors. Vendors see rip and shippers don't want it. They realize like their investments have gone flat or whatever, or really scalpers aren't selling to them anymore, and then they can't sell to the investors, whatever. They're realizing like, a lot of this sealed product's garbage. They're not going to want to take your trade to the show. They're going to want to offload a lot of their bags. They're not buying from the scalpers anymore. And then all of a sudden, local game stores are realizing like, oh, we can sell our cards at more of a market value because the demand isn't high. Why would we buy from a scalper who's buying at market from the store and then selling to us? We're getting normal distribution because the sets aren't as in demand and everything, right? And then scalpers are gone. Then you have a situation where cards are sitting on the shelves, things are normal. All of a sudden, like Pokemon sets are like sitting at MSRP. They're not in demand, which, hey, look, I have seen Surging Sparks sitting on shelves, and Surging Sparks 2 years ago was like, you gotta have it. Now the booster box is $250 and the booster bundles are $40. Like, it's possible for things to go stale in this space. But I could just see the situation where I don't think that this will cause the market to necessarily crash. But a situation like this, where if the sets really suck, rip and shippers don't want it, there's no investor secondary flippers, vendors don't want to buy it, local stores are no longer buying from scalpers, the market will just go flat for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. And then if the market goes flat for 2 years, you might see more of like a lot of people want the market to go boom, 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 instantly crash. I think it's going to be more of like a flat, maybe goes up, and then it's going to just trickle down. And then there's a possibility that all of these super uber greatest investments of all time do trash for quite a while, especially following the 2008 crash. No, following the 2028 printing facility opening. All right, yeah, that's just my thoughts. I'm just like a crazy guy having doing a Pokemon breakdown. Probably the best thing you could do is just dump heavy bags into Pokemon because it's never going anywhere. Look, I got these cards situated because I got a whole stack to grade. Pokemon is like free money right now. That's the reality. But I don't know. Will it be free money forever? It'll be tough. Tough to have Pokemon be free money forever. Those are just my thoughts. If this makes any kind of sense, drop a comment, drop a like. If you think that this makes no sense and you hate it, definitely drop a comment saying you hate it. Peace.